law-abiding citizen.
Huh? Oh, you think that's funny?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, you like this? We're gonna burn clean coal. That's what we're gonna do. We've decided that we don't need to burn dirty coal, and I got my jet propulsion unit here. That will get us where we're going. Right? Hey, you know, we got an easy step right here. Nice and low to the ground. Perfect. Ready? Are you ready?
Crazy.
I'll leave it out to you. Okay, alrighty. Alright, so I don't know if this is going to work or not, but about 3 years ago, I think, my mom and dad were in the need of a heater for the kennel. And being the good son that I am, I went over to John Deere. Yep, John Deere, and I bought a John Deere AC125 heater to heat their kennel with. Uh-oh, looks like Tim's in there working. That has to be there again. Anyway, plugged it in, it worked flawless. It had its own thermostat, and it worked flawless for several years, about for all that time in the winter time. I always liked it, actually. They liked it, and you know, when somebody likes something, they tell you about it. Like, hey, you know, that heater was really, really good. So they asked me last year. Yeah, it was definitely last fall. This one here had thrown a couple of sparks, and it made my mom a little nervous. Well, the reason it does that is because in the kennel's insulated, and it'll heat up, and then it'll shut off. And what happens is, if it does that too often, it'll actually build carbon, and then it'll throw a spark from time to time. So, anyway, so that being said, this thing, come on, that being said, this one here got parked, well, let me change my subject here. I'm not changing the subject. It threw a couple of sparks. So they went out, and I found one out at the local John Deere dealer, which was a 135, which is not a bad size machine. The one that I bought 15 years ago finally shit the bed last year, and that was the end of that. It was just done. So when they bought the new one, the kennel inspector came in, and it used to be you just had to, if it got below a certain temperature in the kennel, you just had to take the edge off. It was maintained 55 degrees. which this thing did very well. The new one never got fuel put in it because the kennel inspector said, nope, that ain't going to happen. And they actually had to put in a regular propane system, and the new one never got used. But the one that I bought for them was still there. And let's see if it starts up. See the sparks sitting through? Now this thing hasn't run. Some sparks. This one hasn't ran in a while. Like since last fall. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to have this one here because it does belong to me. I'm just going to run that one in the shop. The old one I'll show you here. I bought that about 15 years ago. And I know you guys don't like them because they make a lot of noise. But this one here is the old one that I had, and it finally the motor's shot in it, and it's got some other issues with it. I mean, it shows its age. It's done. There's no sense me fixing it just because I don't know if it's a Dynapro. And Dynapro only made these things for a short amount of time, and the only place I can get parts for this thing is through Dynaglow, and I can't find the 170T Pro. So basically I would have to take this somewhere that is a Dynaglow dealer, not a Dynapro because they don't make that anymore, and get the parts through Dynaglow, and maybe they could match them up. So by the time I did all that bullshit, it'd probably be $300 worth of parts. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not spending that kind of money on it. So because I already have this 125 here, which is a much bigger one than this 110, this one here belonged to my uncle, my Aunt Beth's husband. He was killed in an airplane crash back in 2002, and all the stuff that he owned came here, and this just so happened to be one of them. So when that went outside shit the bed, then I went up and I got the Dayton here, and this is a Dynaglow, Dayton Dynaglow. So it is the same company as that, but I took the head off of it to look at it and inspect it to see if the parts from this one would fit on that one, because this one's a little older. It won't work. They're not the same, not even close. It's a smaller everything, a little different. So basically, this one here is what we've been relying on. It's not as big as, that's a 110, that's a 125. That actually, you see all that carbon coming out of there? It needs to run for a while, like a long while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this one and this one here also simultaneously. It'll take the edge off inside this building. Now, this would only run for like 5 minutes in the kennel and shut off, and that's why it was building up all that carbon. So that's actually old diesel fuel in there. I am going to purchase some kerosene to run in it just because I need to do that. But this is a multiple fuel. They factory tested kerosene, jet fuel, 1 and 2 diesel. That's what that one does. And this one over here, which I bought brand new today, is the AC 215. It's 215,000 BTUs. It's a good bit bigger than that one. The tires are low in air, and the idiots that put it together are missing 2 bearings. They're missing 2 bearings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bearings off of the other one and put them in here today. I'm going to put air in these tires, and this one is going to my house. This one, the reason it's going to my house is because I've got 2 heat sources. I have 3 heats. I've got 3 heat sources. I got electric, I got fuel, and I got coal, wood. So I don't have anything, like this would be electric. I have a generator back up at the house. Actually, the generator's over there. The generator's over there, which I should bring it back to my house and deal with that. But so if if it gets really cold and the coal fire goes out for some reason, or I run out of fuel oil, or whatever, I'll have this huge kerosene heater that would heat the house up in a matter of 15 minutes. And believe me, it would. It'd probably be more efficient than anything else I've got. These things are amazing. Even with this thing not being insulated, it's not insulated, that one heater, I'm telling you, it is warming up in this building pretty quickly. So, yeah. So that's what's going on. We're just kind of getting this done. Timothy's got issues with his Jeep. I have made him take it off the road because he needs to do some welding. Holy shit, kid. Apparently this thing is rotting away. Yes, rotting away. That is the ground under here. But because it's of the year that it is, it's, oh my God, what the hell is he welding with? He could just weld with a MIG welder, it would work. But anyways, I made him put seat belts in it, as the seat belt bracket had rotted away. And I told him he cannot run the truck until the seat belts are in. So he is SOL with seats. So for Christmas, Daddy Badass bought him seat belts to use. And he is going to get this thing going. He'll be working on this today, or tonight until it's done. I'll start to help him out. He needs help. So at least this heater's working, and it's because it's like 20 degrees outside. I think that's bullshit that they didn't put the bearings in there right. You'll have to go rob them off of that machine and put air in there. But anyways, I guess that's it for me right now. I'll get back to you.